The introduction of the Aerotropolis concept is one of the city of Ekurhuleni in Johannesburg has embraced not only as a means of increasing Africa's competitiveness, but also counteracting the disjointed planning that was done in the past. CNBC Africa spoke to the newly appointed African General Manager of O.R Tambo on some of the legislation around land use that needs to be considered in the airport's expansion plans.
What Ekurhuleni would probably do is look at what land use policies give you advantage in terms of that. So how do you zone your industrial area to favor the types of manufacturing businesses that need to be close to an airport for export purposes, for example? How do you create logistics parks that are people that facilitate import and export so that they're close to the airport? Because then the cost of doing that business then somewhat decreases.
A lot of the low-cost airlines have attributed their failures to the airport tariffs. Are you able to give us the rationale behind the cost mechanism?
So we knew that the infrastructure that we needed to put in place, given what we're seeing at the time, this is back in 2003, 2004, 2005, with double-digit growth everywhere. So what you're seeing at the time is that you need to build this infrastructure, and if you wait to charge for it until it's operational, it's going to result in quite a step up. So you move from a pre-funding model, which allows you to smooth that particular increase in impact on the industry, so that when you do put the infrastructure into operation, it's not a big jump. So that's a fundamental change in the mechanism. So there was no noise in 2005 when you looked at the 5-year period of 65%. There was noise when it was 59%. I think what needs to happen is somehow the industry and the policymakers need to find a mechanism that assures the sustainability of pretty much everybody in the industry.
And would you say that was responsible for the demise of some of the airlines that we've seen?
The issues of cost are systemic. Okay, so you have wages, you have negotiated contracts in terms of wage costs, you have fuel costs, and the type of aircraft that you have. So tariffs increasing, fuel prices are increasing, some of your labor issues, and some of the, so all of that will lead to your cost structures either being sustainable or not being sustainable.
A lot of noise has also been made around the Eskom's proposed electricity tariffs. What implications does that have for you?
It has a huge impact. If you look at if the projected 16% over the next couple of years does happen as currently is being talked about, that for us represents an 83% increase over the 5-year period and just one of your cost items. So it is absolutely critical that we get really innovative around some of our energy solutions, and we are talking to different potential partners and so on around some of those issues.
Now, obviously you would need to focus on areas that you need to improve on. Last year South African Airways reported that about 3 million rand went into baggage claims. What are you doing in order to manage that cost?
So that statistic six years ago was probably sitting at about 30 per 1,000 passengers out of this airport. Over the years, we've brought it down to, on average, about 9 every 1,000 passengers. On average, across the globe, the mishandled baggage rate per 1,000 passengers was 8.99. So in terms of mishandled baggage, that's pretty much where we are.